All right, on News Today, let's shift our focus now to our top spotlight story tonight. An India Today exclusive in your interest. We unmask the nexus between pharmaceutical companies and hospitals. We reveal how the retail prices of some life-saving drugs are inflated in some cases by up to 9 times. Listen to this story. This involves us all. When you walk into a hospital, you walk in with an extraordinary degree of trust. You trust your doctors for your treatment. Your medicines, no matter how expensive they might be. But insiders of the medical profession have now come out into the open, bearing disturbing evidence of how your jostle for lifesavers might be holding you hostage to brutally overpriced surgical devices and drugs. Anguished, the Alliance of Doctors and Ethical Healthcare has now broken the unwritten code of not speaking out against their own. A key member of the non-profit, Dr. G.S. Grewal, is campaigning against what he firmly believes is an arbitrary price regime.
Industry says that it will stop our R&D, it will stop our production. I have one open question to the pharmaceutical companies. When you are giving me a medicine at 200 rupees at a MRP of 690, how does company has already covered its price, its production, its employee, everything, and the stockist and the retailers margin in the 200? Why should that 600 be allowed by the government or by any pharmaceutical company? Because I am in a compulsion, because I am patient.
Dr. Grewal's group not only wrote to the Prime Minister suggesting that the maximum retail prices of drugs be regulated, he has also revealed a devastating truth. Price quotations various drug companies purportedly sent to private hospitals. These documents reveal massive variations in the costs of life-saving drugs. These price quotations show that hospitals might be paying 9 times less on cancer and heart drugs than patients are charged for. Yes, this price difference is 9-fold. Patients being ripped off, pill by pill, shot by shot. A damning disclosure about what appears to be an outrageous profiteering in the pharma industry. Gross MRPs aren't limited to a single company, but seem to be spread across the sector. Take a look at these quotations. We first highlight the price of cancer drugs that hospitals and wholesalers pay. Pune's M-Cure Oncology offering Demicure 250 mg, an anti-cancer medicine, to an Amritsar hospital at under 2,000 rupees. Now see how much it costs the patients. More than 18,000 rupees in MRP. Similarly, patients are charged as high as 16,500 rupees for one vial of Pemcure 500 mg. But the same cancer drug costs a little over 3,000 rupees to hospitals. Take a look at the margins of Reliance Life Sciences is providing to hospitals for cancer medicines. Trasturel 450 mg offered at around 31,000 rupees to hospitals. For patients, it's more than 58,000. Rituxirel 500 mg is sold in retail at more than twice the hospital price of some 15,000 rupees. Drugs used for heart treatment are priced no differently. Look at this one. A quotation from Abbott, a reputed pharmaceutical company, offering branded drugs at 3 times below the MRP to hospitals. Retilex 18 mg, an anticoagulant, sold at just 18,000 rupees to hospitals. For patients, it's priced at close to 33,000 rupees. Eptifab 100 ml, another heart medicine, costs 3,500 to hospitals and more than 12,000 rupees to patients. India today has been chasing the drug makers over the past 1 week, but none of them has yet commented on this price variation. A health activist, Raj Narayan, explains this phenomenon.
जब वो अस्पताल पहुंचते हैं तो अस्पताल में घूम रहे बड़ी-बड़ी फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपनियों की दलालें उनको खा जाते हैं। चाहे हम कैंसर के मरीज की बात करें, हार्ट की मरीज की बात करें, वो मरीजों को बड़ी आसानी से उसके टॉट दिन भर अस्पतालों के अंदर घूमते रहते हैं, उन्हें बड़ी आसानी से अपनी जाल में फंसा लेते हैं।
Calls are growing for mechanisms to bring every drug under price control, branded and generic alike. Dr. Meera Shiva of the All India Drug Action Network says every medical procedure on patients should also be subject to audit.
So the national list of essential medicine, the WHO, we have for 2015, the WHO essential drug list 2017 has come. So many other, because like especially for antibiotics, when resistance emerges, you need newer ones, etc. You get newer drugs which are safety-wise, efficacy-wise maybe better, you know. But the question is, then do we leave the irrational, non-essential and other drugs 10% increase per year, which has been allowed under DPCO? Right. You know, should it be the no? Many of them should not be in the market. Patients should not waste their money on it.
The country's essential medicines list carries only 376 entries, which is less than 1/4 of drugs available in the market. But regulators insist they step in to control arbitrary pricing.
The nexus lies completely exposed. The surprising part is that not only the branded drug manufacturers but also the generic ones are neck deep into it. Perhaps it's time now for the government to step in and stop this loot.
In February, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government slashed the prices of cardiac stents by as much as 58%. But the momentum needs to be sustained in order for other life-saving drugs and devices to become more affordable. With Anand Patel in Delhi, this is India Today's special investigation team. Well, let's make one thing very clear here on News Today. This isn't about illegality. No laws are apparently being broken. This is about consumer interest. Why are consumers having to pay such a huge markup when the drugs don't actually cost that much? What is with these enormous profit margins for life-saving drugs? Joining me on News Today this evening, Dr. Narendra Saini, former Joint Secretary of the Indian Medical Association, joining us from Delhi. Also with me here in the studio, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Agarwal, if I could quickly come to you first. Your party's government recently reduced the cost of cardiac stents by as much as 58%, which was a widely welcomed move because it makes that technology available to millions more people potentially across the country. In this report that we've just put out, there are drugs where the markup that consumers are paying in hospitals are as much as 1,000% more. Something that costs 3,000, you end up paying 20,000 for it. Something that costs 2,000, you end up paying 18,000 for it. There is no question of illegality. Pharmaceutical companies are well aware of what the laws are, but the laws allow this kind of profiteering. Is there a reason to step in and check this now?
Definitely. This is an organized crime which is taking place in the pharmaceutical industry. The policies...
But it's not a crime, it's legal.
No, yeah,
there's nothing illegal about it.
That's organized manipulation, you can call. That's why Prime Minister has, as you mentioned in February, it was one of the part of the step which suddenly drastically reduced the prices of stent to from several percentage points. The other thing is Prime Minister is also focusing with a vision to modify or change the whole pharmaceutical industry with his Jan Aushadhi plan. That's the way when generic medicines will be low cost, generic medicines will be available to our consumers, to the patients, our health sector. That is through Jan Aushadhi. Prime Minister has said that we should depend more and more on generic medicine. That is his vision, and there on that direction he is moving. That's very important.
Okay.
If the consumer want to benefit out of this whole generic, low cost generic medicines, we should understand the whole industry. World 70% of the world production of generic medicine is being done in India, but we are not consuming that in our own country because of certain restrictions and the policies which we saw earlier. Now the government wants to change. That's very important for us, and I am very happy that India today is doing
because this
debate.
is about the lives of people. At the end of the day, we're talking about the lives of people. Each day that something like this continues to perpetuate itself, it's that many fewer millions of people who have access to life-saving cancer drugs or other kinds of life-saving drugs. Dr. Saini, we reached out to many pharmaceutical companies, reputed companies that are doing fabulous work in the pharmaceutical industry. None of them have responded. That may be representative of this being a pretty sensitive issue, because profiteering is, after all, something that should be looked at pretty negatively when it comes to the business of life-saving. But Dr. Saini, what would you make of this kind of profiteering? It's been going on for so many years. It's considered totally normal now for patients to pay enormous markups when they go to hospitals.
I think you have rightly said in the initial that they have used the legal means of doing these things. It is not I will not come to that it is an organized crime, but it is they are using the legal system to use this crime. As a doctor, for me the most important thing is my patient should get all right, and affordable price it should be there.
Yes.
And unfortunately, number of times to all the governments we have said that why there is a difference in the price of a generic drug and a branded drug. The same company producing the same drug, if we are saying, but when it gives the generic name, it is 9 times lower than what the branded price is. Why there is so much of discrimination? As a doctor, even if I write a generic drug, because of the chemist, they can give any kind of a drug on the name of a generic drug. So there has to be some law on that. If a doctor is writing some drug, that only drug should be given. Unfortunately, law is there, but the government implementation is not there. So everywhere there is something is missing in that. The implementation of that part is missing. We welcome BJP idea of giving our Prime Minister that he has reduced the prices of cardiac stunt. The similar things should happen in all other essential drugs also. Unfortunately, this is going on very slowly and slowly. All the doctor community wants that this should be curbed. Whosoever is doing it is I think not doing in the right way for our common man.
Mr. Agarwal, can you give some kind of assurance? You just named some schemes, you said many things that are happening. Can you give assurance to people like Dr. Saini and to millions of citizens who are watching? Because medicines, medical care, healthcare is something that unites us all. There is nobody among us who can claim that we either don't need medicines or we don't have people in our families who are going to need healthcare, emergency healthcare, even life-saving drugs, God forbid. Is there some assurance you can give us today that you said you are very happy about this investigation, that concrete steps will be taken in a time-bound manner to check this profiteering?
I am telling already steps have been taken. The government under Modi ji vision, he has been moving towards the availability of generic medicine, promotion of generic medicine through National Pharma Pricing Authority. He has mentioned he understands the issue, and through Jan Aushadhi scheme, he is telling that he is requesting even doctors. I think Dr. Saini should understand this also, that the government is requesting doctors to write the salt name in addition to brand name alone. If they write the salt name in their prescriptions, then the person can go to a chemist and ask for the without the brand, he can ask a cheaper salt generic medicine. Second thing is what the government is doing is that they are promoting generic medicine through hospitals. They are promoting Jan Aushadhi distribution centers through which generic medicines will be cheaply available, and they are putting pressure on the pharmaceutical industry also. Actually, you rightly mentioned that it's the profiteering of the pharmaceutical company which is creating a hindrance to the promotion of generic medicine. So therefore, the government is itself pressurizing, government is taking alternative mechanisms, and doctors should also support this. That's very important.
Both sides need to cooperate in this.
For general public, I would request from your channel also, the general public should go for salt name whenever they go for a doctor.
Okay.
Ask him to write a salt name.
Okay.
Go to the availability pharmaceutical
That is a short-term solution.
And ask
Yes,
for a salt.
yes.
Then
But at the end of the
don't
day,
go for a branded medicine.
absolutely.
That is low
But
cost
at the end of the day, let's be very
I
clear.
just want to
The
make
issue
one
is not
point.
about taking out branded drugs. Branded drugs are going to be bought.
Let them be
There is
available.
the solution can never be putting pharmaceutical businesses out of business. After all, they are legitimate companies. They're legitimate concerns. They have to be allowed to profit and exist as well because they are also in the corporate world. But the point is, can what Prime Minister Modi did with cardiac stents be done with life-saving drugs across the board? Look at India's population, look at our healthcare needs. They are enormous, they are growing, and they're not going to come down anytime soon. Something needs to be done drastically. We've put this out and we're going to get even more reactions as we move ahead. Mr. Agarwal, Dr. Saini, thank you very much for joining us on this discussion. We will get more updates from our reporters on how the government moves this forward. Mr. Agarwal, you've made a promise here. You've made an assurance that things are being done. We're going to track it very, very closely. Okay, moving on now. Just 3 days after the horrifying Amarnath terror attack, the situation remains tense in the Kashmir Valley. Police patrolling has been increased as CRPF teams continue to monitor the situation on the ground. Our special correspondent Mausami Singh travelled to the region where CRPF teams have been deployed and road operating parties are constantly inspecting the nearby areas to nab Abu Ismail, who masterminded the attack on Yatris from Pantha Chowk to Kanpur. Security forces are on alert and joint operations are underway by the army and the CRPF.
We are bringing you exclusively these patrolling operations that the CRPF has actually stepped up. Martyrs' Day it is today in Srinagar, and as we told you, we are traveling in this bulletproof van, just giving you a glimpse of the different types of bulletproof vans. This is completely bulletproof, but you need to wear a helmet because this has got a wider open area without a cover. The one that my camera person Bhupendra Rajput is traveling in and is bringing you these pictures is got a wired cover over it, so it's much more safer to stand without a helmet. But we are heading towards Pampore, which is a sensitive area, and you would have a look at how the CRPF has actually stationed its jawans at every nook corner of Srinagar. Security agencies have launched a joint operation to nab Abu Ismail and zero in on his accomplices.
Meanwhile, several drones, aerial drones, have been deployed to strengthen security apparatus and surveillance across Jammu and Kashmir. These surveillance drones will be used to monitor peripheral security, Yatri camps and vulnerable points, and can function within a range of 4 kilometers of the human operator. The security forces have also been asked to obey standard operating procedures. Remember, glaring lapses had come to light at the time of the horrifying terror attack on the 10th of July. Strict security measures have been introduced by the forces to ensure safety of pilgrims and tourists in the region. Our correspondent Polami Saha spoke with the commanding officer of the 54th Battalion. Listen in.
Stands out especially after the very recent tragic episode of Amarnath Yatris being targeted by terrorists. Drones have been employed now across the valley. More of them in numbers have been employed across the valley. And joining me right now is the commanding officer of the 54th Battalion of the CRPF, Mr. A.K. Bhardwaj. Sir, how are these drones now playing an important role in ensuring that you have your eyes on what is happening around this camp where Amarnath Yatris are staying right now?
Yeah. These drones are very useful for the purpose of surveillance, taking care of the Yatri camp. We deploy these drones during the crucial timings for the surveillance of the Yatri camp, at the Naka point, at the periphery of the camp, and the imagery is very good. And they're very useful for the security purpose. These are some of the measures that are being employed on the ground by our security agencies and forces in order to ensure, including these drones, in order to ensure that Yatris and tourists who are now being told by the government, by the security agencies, that they've been treated on par with each other, that they do not violate any standard operating procedures, and of course their security is paramount, and hence the use of these drones and other measures in order to ensure
ensure that everyone on ground in Kashmir Valley and in the Jammu region is safe and secure. With video journalist Sanjay Kumar, Paulami Saha in Manigam for India Today.
And it's a big India Today impact. Meanwhile, Separatist leader Naeem Khan, caught on tape in the India Today sting operation recently, is headed for even more trouble. The NIA has found, if you can believe it, a Hizbul Mujahideen thank you note written in Urdu during raids at Naeem Khan's home. His wife is a government officer. Well, this even as the stung hawk led a pro-ISIS rally in Srinagar on Thursday. Hizbul Mujahideen says thank you to separatist Naeem Khan. An old Lashkar-e-Taiba letter recovered at the house of Mirwais Umar Farooq's principal aide. 26 raids conducted by NIA sleuths, incriminating proof against the Pak agents. Mounting evidence recovered from files and data stored on 22 computers, laptops, 94 mobiles, 170 pen drives, 26 memory sticks. This less than 2 months after the India Today expose stung the separatist leaders of Kashmir.
आपकी फंडिंग है वो मतलब साल के हिसाब से वो करते हैं आपकी फंडिंग या how they fund you? Different. Yeah, quarterly they fund you. Quarterly. Yeah, annually they fund you.
कभी मतलब quarterly और 6 monthly इस तरीके से
आ जाता है.
और कभी कभार वो ऐसा भी होता है कि वो कहीं सूर्या में रहते हैं, कतर में किस देते हैं, वहाँ से वहाँ गया, वहाँ से इधर आ गया दिल्ली, फिर आपने यहाँ से मुझे दिया. थोड़ा सा उसमें भी होता है परसेंटेज बीच वाला कट भी जाता है, जैसे पाकिस्तान से वहाँ गया, वहाँ से.
The India Today sting is still sending out aftershock after aftershock. As the probe picks up pace, Mirwais Umar Farooq's maternal uncles and close aides grilled last week by the NIA. Last week, in connection with their funding. The proof against the hawks is watertight. A thank you note written in Urdu from Hizbul Mujahideen has been recovered during the raids from stung leader Naeem Khan's residence. 60 pages of blank Hizbul Mujahideen letterheads were also recovered. A 2006 Lashkar-e-Taiba letter seeking financial aid and donations has been recovered from the Srinagar home of Shahidul Islam, a close aide of Mirwais Umar Farooq. Direct evidence, but the separatists are trying to evade the questions. Naeem Khan refusing to answer direct questions on his links with terrorist organization Hizbul Mujahideen.
पिछले 3 साल से चाह रहा था कि ऐसी चीज हो.
कैसे?
इतनी बड़ी पावरफुल स्टेशन चले
जो अब चलिए बुरहानवादी के बाद 5 महीने जो अब चल रही है.
हाँ, चल रही है. मतलब वो इतना भी नहीं चाहते थे, कहीं वो 1 महीना चाहते थे कि पावरफुल 1 महीना. ऐसा नहीं होता, मतलब इसमें बड़ी चीजें फिर शामिल हो जाती हैं.
उनकी फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट रही इस वाले में, प्रेजेंट
में रहा, पर जिस लेवल का होना चाहिए
फिर भी
जिस लेवल का मैंने
100 करोड़ तो रहा होगा. इतना तो रहा ना,
तो उससे ज्यादा ही रहा, बट मैं कहता हूँ ज्यादा ही रहा.
Investigators await the results of forensic tests on the hard disks and computer drives, and then there will be no running away. The Hurriyat terror link is burning the valley. What more proof is required to shut down the Hurriyat once and for all? With Kamaljeet Sandhu in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today. Moving on for the moment, it's a massive India Today impact. After we exposed how Chinnamma Sasikala is running a VVIP Raj in a Bengaluru central jail by offering a bribe of a whopping 2 crore rupees to have a special kitchen running as part of an allegations in a report by the DIG prisons, now the Karnataka Chief Minister has ordered a high-level inquiry. As Sasikala's alleged VVIP high-handedness is exposed and Karnataka's DIG faces off with her boss, can governments bring an end to VVIP rule yet again exposed in our jails?
Mid-February this year, when Chinnamma made her way into Bengaluru's Parapanna Agrahara prison, the world knew that the AIADMK General Secretary would be no ordinary prisoner. Because everyone knew her as Tamil Nadu's most powerful politician after Jayalalitha's death. 6 months on, those fears are proven right. she's a prisoner only in name. The revelation made by DIG Prisons, Rupa Mudgil. The officer laying bare how the Bengaluru prison is actually nothing more than a golden cage, at least for Shashikala. In a letter to the DGP of Karnataka, the officer has claimed, hours after India Today accessed the explosive letter, the deputy of the man accused of taking bribes to give special favors to Shashikala was forced to clarify.
There is no special facility given to Shashikala. She is in an ordinary women's barrack, first floor. Okay? And there is nothing, no undue favors being done, even in the matter of visitation. We have not obliged the ministers or MPs or MLAs of Tamil Nadu. All allegations are false. There is no special treatment meted out to anybody. I am telling you, even if she thinks there is an allegation against me, also she can tell me, sir, this is what people are talking. We don't mind. I am open to investigation.
Let there be a fact-finding inquiry. In that report, there are facts which even now can be proved. So let there be an inquiry. I have submitted it to DG Prisons. Let him take action. I have given also a copy to the government. I have also read Prison Act, Prison Manual. So there is no question of me not knowing the rules.
As the ADGP and the DIG faced off in Bengaluru, back home in Chennai, Shashikala's family dismissed the report, alleging that she's too upset to even eat idli and dosa.
Just a personal war. She's taking it personally and she's using Shashikala as a bait.
Is she having a special kitchen? Is she getting special food?
I don't think a normal human being will take any special treatment because the place we are staying is a prison. So even if you are going to be given a special treatment, you will not be in the mood to accept it, you know. You will not ask for buri, idli or dosa out there. You are staying in jail. So mentally you will be, you know, you won't be good enough.
But maybe this report shouldn't surprise us because we have seen these symptoms before. If now it's special food, earlier it was special visiting rights. India Today accessed the Bengaluru jail's visitors log that clearly showed Shashikala's VVIP Raj. While ordinary convicts are allowed only one visitor in 15 days, Shashikala logged over 27 visitors in 31 days. Ordinary under trials are allowed visitors only between 11 and 5. For Shashikala, her visitors breezed in, even past 5 p.m. on several occasions.
நாட்டில் தான் பல பிரச்சனைகள் இந்த ஆட்சி நடந்துட்டு இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தா இப்போ சிறைச்சாலைகள்லையும் பேசக்கூடிய அளவுக்கு சூழ்நிலை வந்திருக்கு. சசிகலா வந்து அவங்க பெங்களூரு சிறையிலேயே போய் அதிகாரிகள்கிட்ட பணம் கொடுத்து ஏதோ வசதிகள்லாம் தேடி கொண்டதாக பல செய்திகள் வந்துகிட்டு இருக்கு. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರ್ ಎಸಿಪಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸರ್. ತುಂಗಭದ್ರಾ ಉಳಿದು ಅದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ಭಾರಿ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
The rot is apparent. The government has ordered a probe. But does it have the will to cut these VVIPs to size? A story we have seen repeated over time. Whether it be Shashikala or Pappu Yadav, Sanjay Dutt or Shahabuddin. With Priyamvada in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, that's it on News Today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you at the same time tomorrow. We're leaving you with our image of the day. Virat Kohli, who shared this adorable picture with Anushka Sharma on Instagram. The Indian skipper captioned the image as much needed break with my love. After a long cricket season, Virat is spending some quality time with Anushka in New York.